Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you to our conference. Today we will be discussing re-examining the theoretical foundations of social work practices. For starters, theories can play an important role in guiding and promoting you down the path of effective and ethical and competent social work practices. For example, you have an idea broached by a psychologist named Piaget that has gone down as one of the most merit-based theories in social work practice, which is the theory of cognitive development. In this theory, Piaget states that cognitive development was a process tied to biological maturation and interaction with the environment. That's to say, given certain factors that a child is exposed to, said factors may influence that child to carry certain traits that he or she may have not have otherwise been privy to. While this theory is highly regarded by those which in the expertise field, a similar theory existed that's been created by a man named Vygotsky. Vygotsky's theory is like Piaget's theory in the sense that it is based on comparison for development on outside interactions with people and things. It differs, however, on the account that Vygotsky's believing that social interactions with the peers is the best way to develop speech or overall mental aptitude, compared to Piaget's theory, which paints cognitive development as specific interactions in the form of focused activity. Vygotsky's theory is firm in its stance that absorbing knowledge and experience through social interaction with one's peers as the best way to develop a young mind. With both theories, it would take you a long way down the path guiding and promoting effective, ethical, and competent social work practices. Vygotsky's theory is a prime example of nature versus nurture. In this sense, the environment is believed to be responsible for the type of person that one will become. While a teenager who plays football while growing up in a poverty-stricken neighborhood may have good role models in their lives at school or in extracurricular programs, most of their time and experience is spent in the environment that they may wake up into every morning. So while activities in themselves can indeed make us favor certain traits as Piaget hypothesized, Vygotsky's theory that established a greater influence in the surrounding environment, making the most change, proves to be more reasonable to me. Another theory that we're going to discuss today is Freud's psychoanalytic theory. Freud hypothesized that this theory talked about, which influenced the theories of many subsequent psychologists who posed some of the same questions as Freud. He stakes cognitive development on what he also labels as stages of psychosocial development, which all take place in the early stages of cognitive development in children, located in what Freud calls the ergonomius zone. Said development was believed to be transpired at each of these 5 stages, which are the oral, anal, phallic, latency, and genital stages. This process would last a long time, than a decade into a child's development. According to Freud, despite Freud's thinking somewhat inspiring certain aspects of psychologists, such as Erikson's theory on psychosocial development, modern-day practitioners in the field view his findings in low regards due to a lack of solid evidence. Even with this being the case, Freud's theory opened the door on certain aspects of many psychologists have already hypothesized. In fact, that personality and who we are based on specific instances of influence in our past. As I previously mentioned, Erikson's psychosocial theory of development was inspired by certain aspects of Freud's, taking an approach geared more towards our goal of promoting the path of effective, ethical, and competent social work practices. Erikson focused on the theory of social nature of our development rather than sexual. This is like Vygotsky's theory that we touched on earlier that established social interactions as the determining factor, fortifying our cognitive development. So what I want to say is that theories are very necessary for us to practice ethical social work. And in conclusion, I would just like to say that all these theories are very notable and are notable by other psychologists who have searched for an answer as to what can help promoting effective ethical and competent social work practices. That concludes our conference. Thank you very much for attending.